There were so many reports, some proved completely false in those hours and days after the attacks of 9/11. There were reports of bombs at national monuments. There were other planes that were supposed to be heading into Washington. There was a threat apparently against Air Force One.
Yeah, called Angel, that's right.
And then there's a story in the book that I didn't know about. Dick Cheney comes to you on one of those video lines and he says, "Mr. President, we have a problem."
Yeah.
It had never been reported before. A few weeks after 9/11, President Bush, Colin Powell, and Condoleezza Rice were at an economic summit in China when Vice President Cheney and Deputy National Security Advisor Stephen Hadley called them to a secure video conference.
Dick says the biodetectors have gone off. We think there's been a botulism toxin attack.
At the White House.
At the White House. And we had all been exposed to it. And had we inhaled it, we could easily be dead. Steve Hadley reported, very formal, really good man, says, "Mr. President, we'll have mice tested soon." And we kind of chuckled and said, well, if the mice are feet up, we're goners, and if they're feet down, we're fine. And
so some of the most powerful people in the country are waiting to see if a bunch of lab mice die,
up or
and if
down.
they die, you're dead.
Yeah, that's what it was. And the reason I tell the story is because it's hard for people to remember that right after 9/11, we were inundated with threats, a lot of threats.
He and his staff were desperate for information on those threats. How they chose to get it is one of the most contentious issues of his presidency, one he seemed eager to discuss.
Let's talk about waterboarding.
Okay.
We believe America's going to be attacked again. There's all kinds of intelligence coming in. And one of the high-valued al-Qaeda operatives was Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the chief operating officer of al-Qaeda, ordered the attack on 9/11. And they say, he's got information. I said, find out what he knows. And so I said to our team, are the techniques legal? And a legal team says, yes, they are. And I said, use them.
Why is waterboarding legal, in your opinion?
Because the lawyer said it was legal. He said it did not fall within the Anti-Torture Act. I'm not a lawyer. But you got to trust the judgment of people around you, and I do.
You say it's legal, and the lawyers told me.
Yeah.
Critics say that you got the Justice Department to give you the legal guidance and the legal memos that you wanted. Tom Kean, who was the former Republican co-chair of the 9/11 Commission, said they got legal opinions they wanted from their own people.
Well, he obviously doesn't know. I hope Mr. Kean reads the book. That's why I've written the book. He can draw whatever conclusion they want. But I will tell you this, using those techniques saved lives. My job was to protect America, and I did.
You talk about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. There's another guy you write about in the book, Abu Zubaydah.
Yeah.
Another high-profile terrorist suspect. He was waterboarded. By the way, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was waterboarded, according to most reports, 183 times. This guy was waterboarded more than 80 times. And you explain that his understanding of Islam was that he had to resist interrogation up to a certain point, and waterboarding was the technique that allowed him to reach that threshold and fulfill his religious duty, and then cooperated. And you have a quote from him. Quote, "You must do this for all the brothers."
Yeah.
End quote.
Isn't that interesting?
Abu Zubaydah really went to someone and said, you should waterboard all the brothers?
He didn't say that. He said you should give brothers the chance to be able to fulfill their duty. I don't recall him saying you should water. I think it's an assumption in your case.
Yeah, when you must do this for all the brothers. Oh, so to let them get to that threshold.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. Look. First of all, we used this technique on 3 people. Mm-hmm. Captured a lot of people and used it on 3. We gained valuable information to protect the country, and it was the right thing to do, as far as I'm concerned.
So if it's legal, President Bush, then if an American is taken into custody in a foreign country, not necessarily a uniformed
Look,
American.
I'm not going to debate the issue, Matt. I'm
really, just asking, would it be okay for a foreign country to waterboard an American citizen?
It's all I ask is that people read the book, and they can reach the same conclusion if they'd have made the same decision I made or not.
You'd make the same decision again today?
Yeah, I would.
The United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps.
Far less controversial, the decision to invade Afghanistan, at the time a haven for terrorists, base of operations for Osama bin Laden.
When you were starting the war plans for Afghanistan, I mean, clearly you had enormous public support. Your approval rating after 9/11 went up to something like 90%.
So?
Well, I'm just saying, you had enormous support. What were your fears about Afghanistan when you were developing the war plan?
Yeah, first of all, the decision to enforce new doctrine, which is if you harbor a terrorist, you're equally as guilty as the terrorist, was not that difficult to make. The hard decision is what to do after you have removed the Taliban. Our nation was ill-equipped for nation building.
Could you have ever imagined in 2001 that we'd still be in Afghanistan and still struggling?
I was hopeful that that would not be the case, but I was also mindful, Matt, that, and history tells us, democracies take a while to develop, including our own.
How big a letdown was it for you, President Bush, that we failed to get Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan? According to a lot of reports, we had him almost in our grasp in Tora Bora, and maybe used too few American commandos to get him. What's the truth?
Well, first of all, the truth is I was disappointed, deeply disappointed, and still am. And secondly, I heard all that noise. We would have moved heaven and earth to get him if we'd have known where he was.
And in any case, there was a new war to wage. How and why he decided to invade Iraq next.
Did you personally have any doubt, any shred of doubt about that intelligence?
No, I didn't.